Glenn Stevens, thanks for joining us.
It is a significant pleasure, Bryan, for me to be among you.
Thank you.
In fact, if there's a greater pleasure in the world, Bryan, than coming in here and engaging in discourse in economics, whatever you imagine that to be, Bryan, I certainly don't know what it is.
I am also overjoyed, if that's any comfort.
It is, Bryan, and power is often exercised in its restraint. How can I help?
The Reserve Bank has made its monthly decision about interest rates.
I could probably say something there if you like, Bryan.
And you've left interest rates unchanged.
We did, yes.
As you did last month as well.
Indeed, we did, yes.
And you issued a statement.
Yeah, that's one of the KPIs in our area, Bryan, issuing statements.
And it too was the same as the previous month.
Yeah, we're not trying to attract attention, Bryan. We're trying to manage a very, very important aspect of the Australian economy.
Glenn Stevens, have you got an app for doing this?
A what, Bryan?
An app.
An app. What's an app?
Well, an application.
Yeah, I don't want to know what it's short for, Bryan. I want to know what it is.
Well, an application's a type of technology designed for telephony.
Perhaps if all the children joined hands.
What I mean is the system is very predictable.
You think so, Bryan? Actually, predicting the past is a great gift in this country. It's not uncommon in your area, not uncommon at all.
Glenn Stevens, maybe you're not aware of how obvious it is what you're doing every month.
Yeah, well, we get a lot of this, Bryan. We get a fair bit of this.
Well, I'm not surprised you get a bit of this. Who do you get it from?
Other Nobel laureates, mostly, Bryan. How would an app work?
Well, if you put up interest rates, a bell would ring.
A bell would ring? Goodness, how would we contain our excitement down at the RBA if a bell rang?
Well, the bell would indicate a rise in the currency.
Would it? And what would we do then?
Well, you'd lower interest rates back down again, of course.
I see. And what would happen then?
Well, you'd get a kind of swanny whistle sound, maybe.
Good heavens.
That would mean that house prices are going up.
Oh, so what would we do?
Well, obviously, you'd put interest rates back down again, wouldn't you?
Bryan, would it be possible using an app to vary the marginal propensity to spend in the urban Chinese middle class?
Well, we wouldn't have a button for that. We're talking about the Australian economy here.
Would you have a button, Bryan, for politely excusing yourself from an interview?
Well, I suppose you could devise an app with the right sort of variables.
Well, I certainly hope so, Bryan. I certainly do hope so.
But it'd put you out of a job, of course.
No, not necessarily, Bryan. I mean, the people who'd be designing this
App.
Sorry, Bryan, I beg your pardon. This app, they might need some assistance.
What sort of thing do you think?
More crayons, Bryan. Some fairy cake.
A lot of these people would be financial advisors.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that whatsoever, Bryan.
Glenn Stevens, thanks for your time.
Be still, my beating heart.